Did the Kendrick and Drake battle cause the fall off of mainstream hip hop for whatever reason? Because they stopped going back and forth. You know, they don't have albums out that are fresh and new. I mean, Kendrick's on tour. Drake, you know, is putting out singles, but he's not dropping an album with Iceman. But see, I want to go back at a couple of narratives. There are, you know, uh, there are platforms out there, and I say narrative pushing voices out there saying that Kendrick caused this lull in the mainstream because nobody's putting out slaps, nobody's collabing with each other, blah, 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 all of this. What do you think about that narrative before I get to the other side with Drake?
I think it's funny that people blame Kendrick for them not making music is crazy. Like,
yeah.
So you basically saying when people say that it's Kendrick's fault that hip hop is where it's at today, then you're basically saying that he resetted the game. He had that much power to actually reset the whole industry.
Which he did, and I think he did.
And that's impact. You know, shout out to the other Lance who think Kendrick Lamar got impact. He just put the point again.
Exactly.
So you're saying that he has that much power. So when he said in Control, I'm juggling both coasts, he really meant that, right? That's what you're saying. So my thing is like, Kendrick Lamar doesn't control what other people make. The issue is they can't beat Not Like Us. That's the problem. Everybody wants to run after that. Just make music. But they're so obsessed with numbers that they can't capture that. They can't.
Yeah.
Do I believe Kendrick Lamar and Drake actually destroyed hip hop? Yes and no. I believe that this is the peak of war between two major artists. I just don't see this ever happening again. But I will say that it's kind of sad to say this, but Kendrick being as good as he is, I think a lot of artists are intimidated by that, and they can't copy the formula like they did with Drake and like they did with Future, like they did with all of these other artists. They can actually just trace what they did and go, you can't do that with him. So when people say, oh man, he killed hip hop, that's what they're saying. Well, they can't copy him. That's what they're saying. They're not necessarily saying that
or be better than or match.
You think about it. Yeah. Look at Drake, right? Drake did copying, and people also copy Drake, right? Mm-hmm. But now when Drake does the song,
copy.
Yeah,
you just said it. His whole style is a copy.
He does What Did I Miss, right? Which is not a bad song, but it's dated now. You listen to What Did I Miss, and you listen to Euphoria. You're like, well, wait, no, we're gonna go this way now. Rappers can't do that. Cardi B can't do that. Nicki Minaj can't do that. They can make all the hits that they want, but they're not gifted like that anymore. They all copy each other, and they can't copy no more. That's why they're saying hip hop is dead, because everybody's not they can't copy Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? If he's at the top,
creative enough, bro. There's no innovation with the major artists to affect the mainstream. That's the problem. It's not Kendrick's fault.
Right. But
you know what's funny about the Iceman thing?
Yeah. Go ahead, Ansel.
No, let me finish real quick. My bad. Go ahead.
But here's the thing: you don't always have to copy Kendrick. You just have to be creative. Tyler, the Creator, is successful, and he sold 1 million copies on his record, and he's pretty big. He doesn't copy Kendrick. You get what I'm saying? He does what he does. But a lot of these artists, I think their image outweighs their talent. You know what I'm saying?
And Tyler, the Creator this year.
That's a great point.
You get what I'm saying?
The gay image stood out more than the music this year because of what he said.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
People brought
Tyler,
up old
Creator
tweets,
is good
and
at what
he
he
said
does.
on this new album, "I eat the cream pie in the back of the back seat." Like that stood out more than the album. So so the image
And
is
then
taking
look,
over a lot of
another
people's
thing
views.
too, right? I know a lot of people don't like the album Don't Tap the Glass, right? A lot of people don't like it. But he dropped 2 albums in 1 year and they were major successes. And they're running simultaneously at the same time. And they have nothing to do with each other.
Grammy nominated.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
They have nothing to do with each other. These albums, if you listen to Don't Tap the Glass and you listen to Chromacopia, they don't have nothing to do with each other. But artists can't do that. If you listen to Nicki Minaj's last 3 albums, they sound the same. You listen to Drake's last 5 albums, they all sound the same. You listen to all these albums. These dudes are not good artists no more. They living off their popularity. So that's why I say that. Maybe this is the end.
You know what I found interesting that no one mentioned on the Iceman last episode? He had a song called "That's Just How I Feel."
Well,
I'm gonna tell you one thing that I think
that Drake and made a song in his 3rd episode called "This." That's just how I feel.
Well, how do you feel, Drake?
Like that's crazy. And no one's talking about how he
Drake. This is why you know Drake is not a part of. He doesn't understand the culture, right? Jay-Z, when he lost that battle, he came back with a classic. He knew what to do. He got right back to it. Drake's problem is he has the perfect opportunity to do something different, and he didn't take the opportunity. He could have got. He could get somebody like Premier or get somebody like Just Blaze to do his album for him.
He did try though. I give props for the effort, but it just wasn't executed right. And now we got like AI and copies of that making funnier memes than the actual episode. Like, yeah, man.
See, I'm glad you brought up the other side of it because I was going to ask, how did Drake really destroy mainstream hip hop? And this is my thing. Since the battle, he's put out more music than Kendrick, and it just doesn't hit the same, for whatever reason. Now, I know there are conspiracy theorists that want to blame this on the UMG case, which is a bunch of horse shit anyway, because those labels are in the business of making money. They're not going to let you not make money and just out of spite to throw off on their biggest artist just a little bit. You know what I mean? That's the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever heard, But at the same time, like he's put out 3 singles from Iceman. He had a heavy rollout with YouTube streams on there, and he just can't garner the attention for this album that he wants to push like that. And to me, if you quote unquote have held the game down for 15 years and you can't, generate any type of energy for the public, this is your fault, bro. You fell off. And people don't say that enough. It's like, bro, isn't this you falling off? I mean, how do you have a major album with 3 major singles that drop around the 4th of July? Around major holidays in the summer, you had the whole lane to yourself. Kendrick's on tour, and you can't, really put out something that generates the interest that somebody who held the game down for 15 years really should. Like, to me, if you ask me, Drake is more to blame for the mainstream fall off, really, than Kendrick in the end of the day, because you're supposed to be the guy and you're not the guy anymore.
Yeah, I will say this, that I agree 100%. Drake been doing music since he came out. He never stopped. He never took a break. He never stopped. Either he's on somebody else's single or whatever. I think Drake, he has that Diddy effect, right? Whereas everything Diddy did, everybody thought was a success. I think Drake got to the point in his career that he kind of did what Wu-Tang did towards the end of their career. They just started doing whatever. They didn't care about the quality of the music or nothing. It was just like, well, we Wu-Tang. Everybody gonna like us no matter what. I think that's what happened to Drake. I think he got lazy a long time ago, and he's just been cruising on autopilot the whole time. When he get into a real issue,
I think he got lazy after Scorpion. I think that was the last time he did. I think the Pusha beef kind of reignited him a little bit, and he came with some energy. And once after that, he was just lazy. He's just on autopilot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, yo, Reed, you literally described A Better Tomorrow by Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Go ahead.
Look, so I think what happened with him was he definitely did that, but he had help from the machine so much, blocking people, getting people not to drop songs, making backdoor deals on people. I think he did that, and now that he doesn't have that, he sees what's really going on, and he don't know what to do. And on top of that, he's still warring with Kendrick, even though Kendrick is not just ignoring him. Kendrick is not really paying attention to Drake like that. And that makes him look desperate. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree more. It's more of Drake's fault, because if he's so big like he say he is, then he should be able to overtake Kendrick anytime he wants. Shouldn't be a problem. If he's more popular than Kendrick,
or be creative enough, like Jay-Z did, and reinvent himself. You know, get the hits out there, get a classic out there to get the masses back on your side.
He just did a reggae song. Y'all know that?
Oh,
see, y'all didn't even know. See, that's what I'm talking about. He literally just dropped a reggae song.
Oh,
Drake.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? And again, people, and I know people say this about Drake all the time. They say, well, people just hating on him. No, people just tired. They're just tired of the same bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
That's so different
That's what
from him doing that. That's all he did last year.
Delilah. Yeah.
Like, man. Why? You know what I'm saying? Why you make that song? I don't know.
I got a question to kind of turn this in another direction before we sign off. So there was a debate on Joe Budden's podcast. I'm gonna play the clip, and they were debating about Iceman. So what direction is he gonna take on Iceman? Is Iceman gonna be this? Is it gonna be that? So they throw it out there and say, well, you know what would be great if Drake does a confessional album like a 444. So we're gonna play that clip, and I'm gonna get your take on it. When we see what Joe Budden podcast and these guys have to say about this one. It's interesting here.
It's a dope question.
I think it's a great.
I would 100% be interested in Drake's version of 444.
Me too.
If he got with 40 and Boy Wonder,
that's it.
I throw a Vinyls beat on there, but those
of course,
are the three.
Yeah, but Vinyls could be in there.
Yeah, Boy Wonder's there. Vinyls should be, and that's it. But 444 was Hove going to therapy, coming out and letting us know about the findings and the conversations and how him and his wife worked through some shit. He was very transparent,
introspective
in ways that we weren't used to hearing. And if Drake found a way to do that, I think the world is interested. I think the world is much more interested than the kitty slaps.
Yes, agreed.
That's just my opinion.
I agree.
I think that would be dope, actually.
Me too.
You know how comedians do some bullshit, and then they got to come back at their next stand-up
with the serious stand-up
and do the whole transparency so we could get past it shit. I think that would be fire.
You just have to have the moment that makes the 444 possible, right? You have to live a certain thing. And if Drake's had that moment, I don't know Drake's life. If he's had that moment, then I'm ready for it. I don't know.
That was a mistake.
Like when I think of I'm even like other genres like Marvin, like Marvin Gaye. Like I mean, everybody thinks about what's going on, but for me, Here My Dear is a moment of like transparency and honesty and vulnerability. But he had to go through that shit with his wife, right? So whatever Drake goes through and gets clarity on, once he does that and he's rapping, I think it's gonna be maybe his best work. I can't wait to hear that from Drake.
See, but some people would say that
Okay, I want to
The
stop.
key word is if he's rapping. That's the key word. Once the singing is involved, you destroyed the whole idea.
I wouldn't say that, but I mean they too. I mean, it sounds kind of far fetched, and I agree with him on saying he's got to cut it with the kitty slaps and all of that.
But I see what they're saying because they want that Drake album that is all rap. When they say 444, they're not necessarily saying you need to teach us the same way Jay-Z did. But you just need to get in the studio with that one producer with 40, just like Jay-Z got with No ID, just like Common got with Kanye West and a little bit of Jay Dilla, just like Nas got in with Hit Boy, and create that one type of album that will like solidify your career to where niggas can't call you whack because you have that established album where you rap the whole album. You can tell people like, no, I'm just not no singing.
I think it's more about the confessional aspect. It's still going to be in the way Drake does it. There's still going to be a little bit of singing on there, but it's going to be a confessional album of him really coming to terms with where he is, how he got through the whole situation, the battle with Kendrick, what really happened, and what he's really thinking. I actually think that would work. You know what I mean? In a weird way, it would. Reese, I don't know what you think.
All right. So I've been saying this, and I hate the fact that it's coming from them saying it.
Yeah.
I did say that I think Drake should just do an album where he confesses. The reason why I say from them, I think it's cap, is because they talk so bad about Mr. Morale. Now Drake needs to do a confessional album. Well, didn't Kendrick just drop a confessional album that y'all trashed? You know what I'm saying? So, in my opinion, I definitely think Drake. Why you say that?
The reason why I say that's different is because Kendrick ain't no Jay-Z Drake type of rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like Kendrick is just on another level. Kendrick is basically a more successful Common. Because Common never backed down from Ice Cube. He may have almost died, but he never backed down from Ice Cube. Just like Kendrick ain't backed down by nobody, like the same way you saying J. Cole did. How he backed out from Kendrick that quick. Because we just talked about the Might Delete Later album. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I get what you're saying, but I can understand why they could be saying his 444. Because 444 is not the same as Mr. Morale. Mr. Morale is a lot more different. If we was to compare like the 444 for Kendrick, the closest would be the Pimp a Butterfly. But he just happened to do it early. That's why I like Kendrick on some other shit, because that was his second mainstream album. Even though it's third, but his second mainstream album, he did that early. The Pimp a Butterfly is 444.
So
like
how
you said that you can kind of compare Illmatic to Good Kid, Mad City, Sean. Remember saying that?
Yeah.
Like Kendrick did
Illmatic, Good Kid, Mad City may be more like it was written out. I really think about it,
but the Pimp a Butterfly is definitely 444 because wasn't Kendrick kicking knowledge and spitting the hard shit?
But he was kicking knowledge on. Let me Mr. Morale.
What I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let me clarify what I'm saying. I said this, and I'm on record saying this. I definitely think that Drake should do an album where he talks about his feelings and his emotions about what happened. I'm on record saying that. I've been saying that. The thing is, the reason why it would be so difficult for him is because I don't think he's that much in tune to his feelings. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think he is. If he does do it,
he did it on the Conductor beat, and people didn't like that.
Yeah, you're right. I think about that. He did do that. He did. But I think he's more. The thing is about Drake that I think a lot of us really don't pay attention to. He never really talks about how he feels. He talks about how he don't like people, but he don't talk about his internal feelings. Every time you listen to him, it's always he don't like what somebody did to him, but he don't tell you how he feels about something. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to explain, but I just think that him doing an album like 444, I think that I don't know if he could pull that off, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm conflicted with that one.
I think I put it to you like this. I think if he went in a more emotional direction, because you got to think Drake came in as an emo rapper. He came in the early 2010s when emo rap was a thing. I mean, from Lil Wayne to Eminem, everybody was doing emo rap at that time. And Drake came in on the heels of that wave. Same thing, Kanye West at that time, right? Because My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was an emotional album, right? Yeah. So I think an emotional album works. But I really question, can he do an album the level of a 444, which 444 isn't even, Jay-Z's maybe top 4 albums, but it's album of the year material. Can Drake even put out an album of the material album at this point?
And what makes a good segue to what you just said is the video of that same dude that said Jim Jones is more influential than Nas, now saying, someone asked him, does Drake or Nicki have an album from Cash Money better than 400 Degrees? MJ from Direct's podcast, Don't Quote Me, said 400 Degrees is the best Cash Money album better. But the dude that said Jim Jones better than Nas, he said that Views is better than 400 Degrees. Nothing Was the Same is better than 400 Degrees. Take Care is better than 400 Degrees. Carter 3 is better than 400 Degrees. And Nicki Minaj, The Pink Print, is better than 400 Degrees.
Yeah.
And went as far as saying Nicki Minaj is a better rapper than Juvenile.
Yeah, that's a bit much. You know what I mean?
But this is how these young niggas think.
Yeah.
That's the era we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, they be interviewing people, and this young niggas that say
young guys
is a better rapper than
I think young dudes like that, like I said, it's the tunnel vision, and they just go off of what other people say and narratives that are out there. So he clearly never even listened to Juvenile like that. You know what I mean? But the whole situation is that I think Drake should go in a more emo direction. Reese, I agree with you. He needs to put out an album where he really talks about how he felt, and I think that's going to be received well. You know what I mean? I mean, he's still going to have to come out with some slaps, but as they say, come out with the slaps or whatever. But I think a more emo album would work, but I don't think he's doing a 444 level album. That's where I disagree. I don't think he could match that.
Yeah, I definitely think that I'll be honest with you, he kind of got no choice at this point. He's gonna have to reveal who he really is eventually. Because he really going to, because
I like how he said that.
So with that being said, Reese, do you think Drake can make a better album, or has he made a better album than 400 Degrees?
Oh yeah. I like I like 3 of his albums. I think 3 of his albums is pretty good.
Yeah.
I think Drake has 2 classics to me, but 1 is really good. I like If You Reading This Is Too Late, and I like Nothing Was the Same. And I think Take Care is a cult classic. Those 3 albums to me is his best work. That's his best work. And obviously it's not his work, but that would be
is it over Juvenile 400 Degrees though?
I probably would take If You Reading This Is Too Late over that. I ain't gonna lie. I fucks with that album. Okay. The album's pretty good.
And I know you said Take Care, right, Sean?
No, I said Nothing Was the Same. I had to rethink that. I would say Drake's first. I don't know if you want to call it an album or a mixtape, but I think So Far Gone, I would take over 400 Degrees, and I'd take probably Nothing Was the Same. Now, people say Take Care is classic. don't know about that. I'll have to listen to Take Care again. But I know
that's the only classic to me that he has.
And I don't know if that's really classic. That's the one with headline. I don't like headlines like that. You know that? Like it's okay. It's not
like to me, Drake is one of those type of rappers where out of all of that type of music he does, it's gonna be one of those albums that's the best out of all of them. But everything else is that typical Drake shit. To me, Take Care is that album where he does Drake the best on that album. I don't want to hear that type of Drake anymore. So Drake, you got nothing what to say where he may have did more rapping on this than Take Care. And then some people say Scorpion because of the producers.
Oh, I forgot. I would say my favorite Drake album outside of those is the one of him and 21 Savage. That I like that album a lot.
I like that album, but not as much as the other ones, though.
Yeah, I actually like Her Loss more than probably every Drake album after.
That's the most he ever rapped.
I put that over Views because Views didn't age well to me.
Since I don't think Views is
the mixtape. Since if you're reading this is too late. That's how much I like the Drake 21 Savage album more than those solo albums up to the Quentin Miller album, pretty much.
Yeah.
You like the album with him and Future?
I did it first, but it got tired. I got tired of listening to it. Like that's how Drake music was to me. Every album from after the Quentin Miller mixtape, up to the Family Matters song, because I'd rather listen to Family Matters than any of those albums. To be honest with you,
he actually has an album he actually has an album with Rick Ross, but it never dropped. But they have an album together too.
Man, I could only imagine that would have been a fire album.
Yeah,
and it's crazy because to a certain extent, the only way I could see someone say Drake won is because when it comes to making a song, you could arguably say Family Matters was the best at that time, but it wasn't the best battle rap song because Not Like Us had rebuttals, Not Like Us had punchlines, but it just happened to be on a club song, the same type of song people claim Kendrick couldn't do. That's how he went left. He basically made a club song, but he went left at the same time by making people believe he can't make that type of song, and he'll do it again. That's what made it crazy.
If he would have divided, you know what? If Drake would have divided Family Matters into 3 different songs, and maybe added like another verse on each one, I mean, that would have been a much more even debate as far as the battle is concerned, to the point where he would have something to compete more with Not Like Us. I still think Not Like Us would have won in the end of the day, but Drake would have had 3 songs out there that people would have vibed to more. But the fact that he made that one condensed song, got it all out there, I don't think
he tried to go toe to toe with Euphoria. That's what happened, because Euphoria was 3 beats. So, but I don't care what nobody says. Euphoria is the best out of all of them.
I agree.
That song, and
that's
especially
the hardest diss record, I think, out of the whole battle, man. Like Euphoria is that deal. I still go back and listen to Euphoria, get hyped off of it.
yeah. And when you go to his show and he does that in his show, Jesus Christ, it's crazy.
I still got the videos from that too.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
but I definitely think that Drake definitely, to me, he was too focused on everybody else, and that's when everybody was saying, "Oh, he coming at everybody 20v1." 20v1, it's a 1v20.
I also find it interesting how a lot of people are downplaying Kendrick for saying, but you got SZA on your tour when Drake had 21 Savage on his tour that went second, but people forget that 21 Savage was on there promoting that Her Loss album.
Wasn't
Drake had 7 people on that tour.
Yeah, he had Jay.
21 Savage was like pretty much the main co-act because of that Her Loss album.
Yeah, 7 people on that joint.
J. Cole was on that tour?
It was Future, it was a bunch of people.
Yeah, that's like Drake and Friends.
Yeah.
Drake and Friends
out
tour.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, pop out tour.
Yeah. I know, man.
Anyway, guys, we had a long one tonight. Thanks for working through with all the technical difficulties too. Guys,
Yeah, man. My bad.
Yeah, no doubt. Anyway, we're gonna post this. And we will be back with some new content coming in a week. Gentlemen, if you want to go plug your channels real quick before we head on out.
BLG, aka Bootleg Gang, Facebook groups, YouTube, everything else I said in the intro. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, Irie.
Hey, you know what it is, man. King of the North, Torture Talk. Go follow me, Torture Talk, on YouTube, The Torture Chamber, and Torture Talk After Hours. You know what it is. It is, man.
And make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews. We are also on Facebook, so go look us up. Just type that in your timeline, it will pull on up. And we will come back with some new content next week. Oh yeah, next week, guys. We got to get to this GNX versus Let God Sort Them Out debate. Finally, we got to do that. That's next week's episode. So stay tuned for that. And y'all have a good night. All right. Peace.
Peace.